I love Star Wars. I love the original trilogy. I defend the prequels. I even think that Revenge of the Sith is superior to Return of the Jedi, or at least parts of Return of the Jedi. And I like Force Awakens, and I love Rogue One, and I love Star Wars comics and novels and all this stuff. So I like Star Wars. I'm not down on Star Wars. Okay. I enjoyed Force Awakens again. I saw it like 4 times in the theater, and I've watched it multiple times since it came out on video, and have debated its merits and this and that and the other with friends, and I like it. I'm enjoying the new trilogy. I like Ray, Finn, Poe, all that stuff. First Order, sure, why not? The Resistance, sure, bring it on. It's space opera. Let's have some fun. But there's an elephant in the room that nobody seems to want to address. And the new trilogy has a huge problem. And since nobody else wants to talk about it, I will. Snoke's name is stupid. Snoke. What kind of Snoke? Look, bear with me. Supreme Leader Snoke. Okay, listen. Darth Vader, right? Darth Sidious, Darth Maul, Darth Bane, Darth Tyrannus. Are you following me here? All of these uh, villain names, Emperor Palpatine, all of these names for the bad guys in Star Wars movies up to this point have just been weighty with sort of a sense of whoa, weight, gravitas, they sound, nasty, right? Because if you think about it, Vader is like invader, and then Sidious is like insidious, right? So the very names. You got Darth Revan, Darth Malak from the video games, all these great names, and then Snoke. I mean, it sounds like a clogged snorkel. I mean, Snoke. It sounds like a kid's cartoon. Something. It's just Snoke. How does that inspire dread or awe with the very utterance of its name? It doesn't. That was even the very first time I saw Force Awakens, and every time I see it, and every time I hear his name mentioned, I just almost cringe. I'm like Snoke, because Star Wars, especially under Lucas, but for the most part under Abrams and others, has had a history of great names. Names that are exotic or alien, but still sound familiar, even though maybe we've never heard them before. Um, Obi-Wan Kenobi, that has a great ring to it. Luke Skywalker, uh, Leia Organa, all of these great, Lando Calrissian, Han Solo, great names that just roll off the tongue and feel real, and kind of help identify the feeling of the character that they're attached to. But then you get Snoke, Supreme Leader Snoke, Lord Snoke. It just, there's nothing. It almost sounds comical. It's awful, and it's hard. It makes it hard. Literally, and I'm kind of half joking, but I'm kind of half serious. It's a terrible name. Who came up? How does that fly? And we need a name for, not Kylo Ren, who's like the leader of the Knights of Ren, and Kylo Ren doesn't exactly strike fear like Vader, but it's at least a good Star Wars name. Um, but Snoke, I mean, they're sitting in a meeting. We need a name that'll just capture the the essence of how dread and terrible the supreme leader of the First Order is. And they're, how about, Lord Annihilus, and how about, Lord whatever, Caesarus or something. And then someone, they've got all these names on the whiteboard and they're marking them through and taking it. We need something that's even more powerful. And then some, raise their hand and like, yeah, and they're like, Snoke? And it was like, awestruck. That's it. Snoke. I mean, what other name could possibly evoke the dread that you know that the supreme leader of the First Order who can, you know, take Han and Leia's son and twist him to his purposes, and Snoke. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm missing something, but I don't. It's just a bad name, and nobody else has called it out that I know of in the past couple of years. Snoke. It's a terrible name. How that made it through the Star Wars thought process into the major trilogy to continue the main Star Wars mythology boggles me. But I just, you know, I just like Scotty. It just doesn't evoke what it needs to evoke. You know, it's terrible. And let me tell you this: 1977, Star Wars comes out. If Lord Snoke had, you know, Leia was, you know, yeah, I should have smelled your stench, Snoke. It just, you know, that's not the kind of deep, solid, like space opera mythology that inspired this kind. That inspired literally Star Wars, hot cocoa, whatever the name of the supreme leader. And I don't care who the supreme leader is. I don't even care. I could care less about Snoke, partially because his name is so stupid. But you need, you know, I want Snoke's name to be Star Wars Coco worthy. You got me? So JJ, everybody else who's involved, go back to the drawing board. I'm totally cool if you want to change the name right now. You know, but before The Last Jedi even comes out, you know, say, well, the Snoke was the you know, because the Sith deal in deception, and there was really no Snoke. It was all just smoke and mirrors. But the real name is, you know, Darth Annihilus, you know, or something like that. I'm on board. I'll help you promote that. So I just want to get that out there because nobody else is calling it out. I'll be the lightning rod. Snoke is a terrible name to be the menacing puppeteer behind the scenes that is such a menace to Ray and everybody else. It's really awful, and really JJ and everybody else involved. Quite frankly, you should be ashamed of yourself. So just wanted to get that off my chest. And I'll still go see, you know, The Last Jedi. I'll just pretend every time I hear Snoke in my head, it'll say like Annihilus or, you know, Destructive. I don't know, Destructisarius or something with a little bit of dread and whatever in it. So if you happen to see this video or whatever, I'd love to hear your thoughts on what would be a better name for Snoke. And again, I don't care who Snoke is. I don't really care whose Rey's parents are. I know they'll eventually tell us. I just like good Star Wars, and for the most part, I love the new Star Wars stuff. But Snoke, somebody was taking a smoke when that name was decided on. We'll catch you next time on Shame.